Welcome to Dragon Quiz. Ready to explore the ocean and test your sea animal knowledge? From vibrant fish to deep-sea wonders, let's see how sharp your instincts are. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, so you never miss a challenge. Let's dive into the first question.
Which one can survive longer without water, a kangaroo rat or a camel? The answer is kangaroo rat. Which one has a more complex vocal repertoire, a humpback whale or a lyrebird? The answer is lyrebird. Which one achieves higher burst speed underwater, a sailfish or a gentoo penguin? The answer is sailfish. Which one has a more potent neurotoxin, a blue-ringed octopus or a golden poison frog? The answer is golden poison frog. Which one migrates farther annually, an Arctic tern or a humpback whale? The answer is Arctic tern. Which one has better night vision, an owl or a tarsier? The answer is tarsier. Which one can lift more relative to its size, a dung beetle or an elephant? The answer is dung beetle. Which one has a longer gestation period, an elephant or a frilled shark? The answer is frilled shark. Which one uses tools more innovatively, a New Caledonian crow or a sea otter? The answer is New Caledonian crow. Which one has a more efficient respiratory system, a hummingbird or a cheetah? The answer is hummingbird. Which one has a deadlier venom per drop, an inland taipan or a box jellyfish? The answer is box jellyfish. Which one has a larger brain relative to body size, a capuchin monkey or a bottlenose dolphin? The answer is bottlenose dolphin. Which one can survive deeper ocean pressures, a sperm whale or a hadal snailfish? Hadal snailfish. Which one has a more diverse diet, a raccoon or a brown bear? The answer is raccoon. Which one regenerates limbs faster, an axolotl or a starfish? The answer is axolotl. Which one has a more acute sense of smell, a bloodhound or a kiwi bird? The answer is kiwi bird. Which one lives longer in captivity, a Galapagos tortoise or a bowhead whale? The answer is bowhead whale. Which one has a more complex social structure, a naked mole rat or a wolf? The answer is naked mole rat. Which one can jump higher relative to body length, a flea or a kangaroo? The answer is flea. Which one has a more efficient circulatory system for cold climates, an emperor penguin or a polar bear? The answer is emperor penguin. Which one has a more varied camouflage strategy, an octopus or a leaf-tailed gecko? The answer is octopus. Which one has a stronger bite force relative to size, a Tasmanian devil or a hyena? The answer is Tasmanian devil. Which one navigates better using Earth's magnetic field, a loggerhead turtle or a European robin? The answer is loggerhead turtle. Which one has a more toxic defense secretion, a hooded pitihui bird or a poison dart frog? The answer is poison dart frog. Which one has a longer memory span, an African elephant or a Clark's nutcracker? The answer is Clark's nutcracker. Which one has a more efficient cooling system, a Saharan silver ant or a camel? The answer is Saharan silver ant. Which one has a more complex courtship display, a bowerbird or a peacock? The answer is bowerbird. Which one can survive longer without oxygen, a crucian carp or a tardigrade? The answer is tardigrade. Which one has a more sensitive electroreception system, a platypus or a hammerhead shark? The answer is hammerhead shark. Which one has a more diverse gut microbiome, a panda or a human? The answer is human. Which one has a faster metabolism, a shrew or a hummingbird? The answer is shrew. Which one has a more effective antifreeze protein, an Antarctic toothfish or a wood frog? The answer is Antarctic toothfish. Which one has a more precise echolocation, a bat or a dolphin? The answer is bat. Which one has a more resilient exoskeleton, a mantis shrimp or a rhinoceros beetle? The answer is rhinoceros beetle. Which one has a more complex language-like communication, a prairie dog or a vervet monkey? The answer is prairie dog. Which one has a more efficient water-conserving kidney, a kangaroo rat or a fennec fox? The answer is kangaroo rat. Which one has a more varied venom composition, a cone snail or a Gila monster? The answer is cone snail. Which one has a more accurate internal compass, a monarch butterfly or a homing pigeon? The answer is monarch butterfly. Which one has a more extreme sexual dimorphism, an anglerfish or a narwhal? The answer is anglerfish. Which one has a more efficient photosynthetic symbiosis, a coral or a spotted salamander? The answer is spotted salamander. Which one has a more sensitive infrared detection, a vampire bat or a pit viper? The answer is pit viper. Which one has a more complex nest architecture, a termite or a weaver bird? The answer is termite. Which one has a more effective anticoagulant in its saliva, a leech or a vampire bat? The answer is vampire bat. Which one has a more diverse set of defensive chemicals, a bombardier beetle or a poison frog? The answer is bombardier beetle. Which one has a more efficient energy storage system, a camel or a blue whale? The answer is blue whale. Which one has a more acute sense of polarized light, a mantis shrimp or a honeybee? The answer is mantis shrimp. Which one has a more effective parental care strategy, an emperor penguin or a seahorse? The answer is seahorse. Which one has a more resilient DNA repair mechanism, a tardigrade or a naked mole rat? Is tardigrade. Which one has a more complex cooperative hunting strategy, an orca or a Harris's hawk? The answer is orca. Which one has a more efficient heat retention adaptation, a musk ox or a yeti crab? The answer is musk ox.
Awesome job! You've completed quiz on Dragon Quiz. How many did you guess right? Drop your score in the comments. Be sure to like, subscribe, and tap the notification bell so you're always ready for the next quiz adventure. See you soon on Dragon Quiz for more exciting brain tests.